So you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Lisa, you ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Lisa, welcome to Let's Talk About It. Welcome to this podcast YouTube series. I'm so excited that you're here today.
Thank you.
So what's up, Lisa? Who are you?
I am a realtor. I'm a broker owner.
Right.
I'm a mom. Mm-hmm. I'm an app developer.
App developer. Yeah, I saw that.
That's a new one for
Okay.
me. Yeah, I'm a lover of food and good wine and good people and life.
Life, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Speaking of food, you just had good Cuban. I'm not Cuban. You had good tacos, didn't you?
Great tacos.
Great tacos, right?
Yeah, shout out to Sophia on
Yeah.
the truck outside. That was good tacos.
You know, when it comes to food and drugs, I think they're good because you don't know what you're gonna get, and then when you finally get it, like
You may get E. coli. You may get the meal of your life.
Yeah, like
in this case, the latter.
This is good,
Yeah.
right? So Nicole, how did you get started in the world of real estate?
So I worked for corporate.
Right.
I worked for I was in like the ad media space. We were a website that tailored to like males 18 to 34, video games and entertainment and that sort of thing. And I started as their support staff, and then I worked my way up to be one of their ad account executives.
Okay.
And I don't know how deep you want to go into this, but essentially there were a bunch of layoffs, and I had a conversation with the then CEO that changed my life.
Right.
And after that conversation, I knew there was writing on the wall. I had gone through 3 or 4 different rounds of layoffs and made it through, but it was very clear that they were trying to close our division of the company. So eventually they got to a point where they did close, and I was let go in like 2000, I think this was 11. And then I always, my late mother was a realtor, so
Right.
I always had the real estate thing in my blood.
Right.
And I was actually starting an event planning company for kids at the time, which I'm fully convinced is why I didn't have a child for 10 years.
Okay.
Interesting industry. But I did that and did real estate, just kind of to pay the bills. I had a bunch of friends moving into Hoboken. I'm like, I'll do a couple rentals and it'll
Right.
pad the bills, and I can do this whole entrepreneur thing and see where it goes. And real estate very quickly became more lucrative than the party
In 2011,
business.
right? I think that's when I bought my house, my second home.
Yeah.
In 2011, yeah.
Yeah. It was like, you were just starting to turn
Right,
up
you were
from that
right.
2008 disaster. And I kind of just rode the real estate wave, and it got to a point where it was either, do the kids' parties or do the real estate. And,
Right.
I was selling $1 million condos versus
Kids.
helping people color. And I was like, I'm going to go this route. So I ended up doing this and never looked back.
Well, the thing is, when you deal with people's kids, right? There's
Yeah.
2 facets, right? You're dealing with the kid, and then you're dealing with their parents.
Yes.
And sometimes that can be an emotional roller coaster.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes.
And when you look at the return, you're like, really? Like, you too? And this is my checking account? Yeah, you know what? I think I like the real estate world. Let's go luxury.
Yeah. I'll never forget my grandfather was in the hospital passing away.
Okay.
And I had a party for this mother in Jersey City.
Right.
And I remember saying to her, listen, I have a death in the family, but I'm sending my best girl. I can't be there.
Right.
And I remember her saying to me, no, you'll be there. And I was like,
Oh.
no, I'm not sure if you heard me or not. I have a death in the family.
Yeah, right.
And I got to go. And
Right.
she was like, no, I hired you. And I was like, you know what? The party's free, but I won't be there. Somebody
Right.
else will be there. And I remember taking the hit, and I never did another party again. I was like, you know what? I got to go where I'm passionate and where I
Right.
think like the industry is also accepting you,
Right.
And I think real estate was just welcoming me with open arms and never looked back.
I don't blame you. Someone, tragic happened in the family. I'm like, I can't make it, but I'm going to send someone else to support what you got going on in your family. I'm going to do what I do for my family because they need me at this time. But you're like, no, you got to be here. Sense of entitlement, huh?
Yeah. So there's a little bit of that going on.
So you do work for a luxury real estate firm, Engel Völkers, right?
Engel Völkers.
Engel Völkers.
Yeah.
Engel
Yeah.
Völkers.
No, it's okay.
I
Everybody does it. German.
And I
gets
wrote it
confusing.
down. I wrote it down. It's like Engel Völkers. And I'm like, and I said Engel Völkers.
It's all good. It's all
Here,
good.
Jimmy,
Everybody
really?
does it.
Like, what are you doing? And it's funny, right? Because I go on the website, I'm like, all right, it's international because you're like, the price of this is USD. I'm like, oh, USD. I'm like, I wasn't expecting a different currency. And, it's kind of, the website, the layout is beautiful, right? And I remember like 3-4 years ago, I was in Aspen. Trust me, I was being the idiot, right? I was going through double doors. I felt like I was George Jefferson. I made it.
Yep.
Long story short, I met this representative from Engel Völkers, right? And she worked in the Colorado office.
Okay. Yeah.
And she just kept talking luxury. And it still didn't register a little bit. I mean, I know I'm in Aspen, right? So that's like the 1% of the 1%. And she's there, and like we're talking, we're going back and forth, and she's selling real estate like effortlessly. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
do they just know you guys internationally when it comes to when one is at that price point looking to buy and sell homes when it comes to real estate? Or is it just...
We actually are the only truly global brand. What I mean by
Only
that is
truly global brand,
everybody
okay.
has started here and gone international.
Right.
Engel Völkers is the only brand that started overseas and came here.
Okay.
So we kind of, what does that mean? Frankly, we do the same things. We have the international presence that a lot of other brands now have, but
Right.
we have this incredible footprint over there because probably the most trusted brand overseas is Engel Völkers.
Okay.
And the whole, our Colorado, shout out to Paul Benson and everyone out there, our shops out west are incredible.
Right.
And the properties are incredible. I mean, we're talking ski in, ski
Yeah,
out,
I'm
$30 million. I mean,
blown away.
beautiful.
I'm like, well,
We do some pretty nice stuff. Sadly, Jersey doesn't have we've had some properties at like the 15 million mark, but we're still waiting for that $30-40 million property.
yeah. Well, it is NFL season, so there's some free agents out there. So
amen.
someone might spend that type of money, right?
Amen. Yeah, but it's a great brand, and we're recognized all over the world. Frankly, more over there than here, but it's allowed us, especially for our listings, it's allowed us to get some really crazy.
So when you're in that luxury market, right? You're pretty much, when you're working with one or some, you're selling that experience, are you not?
Yeah, for sure. And they kind of, it's not even selling, it's like meeting them on their level.
Meeting
so to
them
speak.
on better choice, right?
Yeah.
My bad.
It's definitely selling to a point, but it's more along the lines of a lot of our clients are the type of people that, are hiring us because they think of us as their advisors. They're hiring us because they think of us as their partner in building wealth through their real estate sector.
You're the first person that said that, where you're working with client, but they're, as a professional realtor, they look at you as an advisor.
Yeah.
That is important because when you're at that price point, everything is measured. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, every time you purchase a home, it's always whatever you make, whatever you can afford, you work hard for it, you deserve it.
100%.
But it's so it's what it is. But when you go to that luxury market, it's just that language is definitely different.
Yeah, it's different. And I always tell agents, I have a lot of agents that have started and they've said I'm so scared to break into the luxury thing. I'm like, it's easier. As long as you have that confidence, that you're there to help these people.
Right.
They treat you as the equal.
Right.
Honestly, it's the lower price point where I've been beat up more, Okay. But that being said, we do everything. We always like to say we're the luxury brand for every price point.
Right.
Just this morning before I came here, I signed a commission check for an agent that just closed on a $200,000 condo, So we do everything, but we like to think that we bring that kind of luxury professionalism that Engel Völkers is known for. We kind of bring that to every transaction, which I think is needed right now, given the craziness of the real estate industry.
It is, right? So how's life like, selling penthouses, waterfront properties?
Great now, I think in a downturn, not so fun. I'm sure if we were sitting here in 2008, I'd be crying. But yeah, right now it's wonderful. There's a lot of money out there. And I think with that comes with a lot more discernment. It comes with a lot more people that are like, I want this, and this is how I'm going to live. And because I have this big job I have to do, whether it's in entertainment or finance or whatnot, I need to come home and rest my head, and I'm not willing to kind of balk at that luxury level. So it's pretty good right now.
Yeah, I mean, some of us are in the black when we open up our retirement account, right? I don't know about today because we're recording.
I was going to say,
today's a little different story.
We walked in here and 400 points.
400 points down, but we've had a good run. It's what it is, right? We've had a good run for many years, and so they're doing what they're doing. They're capitalizing off their return, and in some cases, they're parking their money with assets. So, and you see that a lot in Jersey City, Hoboken, the areas that you concentrate in. So, it's what it is.
I always say that it's like the people, it's always a good time to buy real estate. And I say that, it makes me sound like such a salesman.
It's cliche, right?
But it really is. And the people with real money know that it's like, you always buy real estate. You buy the asset, like you said. You buy the opportunity that you have or that asset provides.
Right.
You have a plan for said asset, and then when the market dips, you just buy more.
Right.
So people with money are constantly in the real estate game.
And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. One of the products that we have is called the All-in-One, right? So it's an open line of credit. Essentially what it is, you put 20% down. Anything you buy north of $800,000 north of that, you put 20% down. And what it is the open line of credit through simple interest. the more you apply towards your principal, the less interest you pay. And we do your cash management. So if you decide that you want to pay off your mortgage within 7, 8, 10, 12 years, you can make that happen.
Wow.
And once you pay it off, that line of credit goes to you and your house. And to keep it open, all you gotta do is pay a little less than $100 a year. And all that money is yours.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's your asset, right? Because some people don't think of a house as an investment. It is, because you still got to pay taxes, you still got to pay insurance, and you still got to pay the upkeep. So in my mind, as long as you have those three things, it's an investment, right?
Yeah.
But it's a good investment because you need shelter.
Yep.
So at that price point, this product that we have, the all-in-one, it really maximizes one, living in the home and having a ton of equity today.
Yeah.
Right, I want to be careful.
After this is done, we have to talk about this more because
Right.
I have a couple people that I think would jump on that.
Yeah, it's an exciting product. So Nicole on her team is amazing. Let me tell you guys what happened. Shout out to Nicole, right?
Shout out to Nicole.
Shout out to Nicole. So she sees me on social media, right? I'm like, okay, cool. I'm thinking I'm gonna get a DM because I get so much DMs. I don't know what to do with it, right? Nicole goes above and beyond. She hits the other mail, and I'm like, who's this Nicole person? She's like, Lisa's coming. I'm like, excuse you? And like, I'm reading the email. I'm like, did she just say that? Like, she's telling me what to do. I'm like, oh, hell no. And so I'm like, nah, all right, trash. And then she follows up, hey, what's going on? Lisa would like to come on the Let's Talk About a podcast. I'm like, okay. So I didn't follow up because at the time I had back-to-back loans I was closing on. I had to pay attention to that. When you're on social media, people are watching you. So if my loan's not closing, why are you on social media? You're talking about this. So, it's just consciously I'm aware of what's happening. So at times, if I need to focus on lending, which I love, that's what I'm going to focus on, right? So I didn't get back to Nicole. And she's like, okay, 3 days later, what's going on? Like, where we at? I'm like, did she, like, talk about persistent. Like,
amazing.
She followed up. She's like, I'm going to speak to my podcast manager, Ellie. And we're going back and forth. She didn't get anything yet. She's like, I haven't heard from your producer. I'm like, calm down. I'm going to get to it. And after sitting, and I said, you know what, let me call her now because, sometimes email communication come off a little rough around the edges. So I'm like, all right. Hey, Nicole, how you doing? Hey, Jimmy, how you doing? And as if we're friends. We're talking. She's
the best.
I'm like, she put me in a position like, wow, if you need somebody to work with, I mean, I'm not advertising her to go someplace else because she
better not, Jimmy.
It's not gonna happen. No, it's not gonna happen. Lisa, I promise it's not gonna happen. She's awesome. She is valuable.
Just to give you an idea of how valuable, I have a coach, and they basically were like, you really should do more with the podcast thing, like whatever. And I hate this.
You're doing really good. You're doing good.
To me, this is like, you are lovely. This is lovely, but it's a lot for me. Right. And I said to her, I was like, listen, like my coach says that I have to get out there more and do more of these things. And she's like, no worries, I'm on it. That was our conversation.
Wow.
So that energy and whatever was not even like sent on my end. She just found it and did it. And I was like, she's amazing. She's amazing.
She is. She is key. Definitely.
She's my right-hand woman.
I can see why. Speaking of where you're at, let's be clear. You're a broker and you're an owner.
Yes.
Right? I think that's important because you're responsible for other sales reps doing certain things and managing what that looks like for them for growth, as well as yours, right? Doing parallel at the same time. And but managing other corporate stuff.
Yep.
How is that life like?
It's hard, man. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you.
Right.
So I never wanted it. I never wanted to own a brokerage.
I saw that. Right.
Yeah, my mentor had passed away, and he was like the greatest. Shout out to Nick Costantino and everybody that knew him. He was the greatest human on earth and arguably the greatest agent. He passed away, and the remaining partner, couldn't keep it going without him. And I get it. Like we were all grief stricken. I can't even imagine owning this and trying to, keep it going. So it was quite frankly going to close, and I was approached, and they were like, would you consider buying it? And I was like, no. Like, I have no, absolutely not. But just let me know, I'm going to go take this on down the road. Let me know where I'm going, if you're going to close the office or not.
Take it down the road, just like that.
Yeah. And long story short, they're like, what would make it worth it for you? And we did it. We stopped the bleeding in 6 months. We turned it around in 12, and that was our 1 year anniversary was like a week before COVID. And so I was terrified during COVID, but we grew. We ended up expanding into Jersey City, into a second shop, and it's been wonderful. So I have to say it's been incredibly fulfilling, and there's that aspect of things, but it's a lot. And right now, to own a brokerage and be legally responsible for people running around out there, it's a challenge. It's a happy hurdle.
Happy hurdle.
It's a happy hurdle.
So would you say having mom being an agent helped you get to where you're at today?
Yes, 100%. I think no one in my family, extended or otherwise, had a real job.
Right.
Like everybody was an entrepreneur, for better or worse. So I grew up in an environment where it wasn't, 9 to 5, go, whatever. They did push that. They pushed because it was so many immigrants and so many people that were like, had to fight and claw their way to success, that I think they were like, oh, this is the American dream. You go to college, you get the job, you go on and you're successful. But I think growing up in that environment where I was very much able to see the highs and the lows through that with my family and my siblings, it was eye-opening, but it also planted a seed that I was like, this is more me. The second I left the corporate America, I felt like myself again. So,
well, that's the reason you have a strong personality, right? Let's call it what it is, because you don't like to ask for help, or you don't know how to ask for help, because you're always like, yo, look, I'm gonna figure this shit out.
Yep, 100%.
Like, this is who I am. And
have you
because
talked
your
to my
family,
shrink? No.
I'm family of entrepreneurs, right? My grandfather had like 6 Lamborghinis, right?
Oh my God, you did your research. Oh my God.
You're coming on the Let's Talk About. We're gonna talk about it, right? We're gonna talk about it because this is what it is. I mean, like, so you know what it's like. You know what zero looks like.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, I know what it looks like when those Lamborghinis are being carried out of your house. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I was there for all of it. We up and downs, and it's, I think it also gave me a really good relationship with money. And like, I'm not intimidated by anybody with money, because I had family members that had crazy money, and then I had family members that came here off the boat and had nothing. Right. So it was, I think that juxtaposition was actually a really great way to grow up. Stressful, but it was a nice way to grow up.
We were talking about stress in the green room earlier. What if you're stressed, not doing something you're passionate about? What's the purpose? And because there's so much things that we're held responsible for to do today, and because how you found real estate and now owner of a real estate firm, you don't have as much stress anymore, because you have things in place to help manage your day-to-day life, your time out for your family, and the growth potential of other endeavors that you have. Speaking of endeavors, you have an app, Restage, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about that. I mean, you're on an app store, Google and Apple, right?
Yeah, we just actually pulled it down because we're shifting the way it works. But I can tell you what it is. So I had a very big listing in Hoboken, and it's a much longer story for a much longer podcast. But essentially, I ended up uncovering something from the seller that I couldn't proceed with. We'll leave it at that. And so when I had to separate myself from the listing, it was like thousands of dollars of staging furniture they had to carry out. And I remember sitting on the last couch that was in the living room and being like, this is such a waste of money. And half the stuff I couldn't find homes for. I didn't have a storage space at the time. So like, I had nowhere else to put this furniture. It was going to a landfill. And I was like, what if this wasn't the way? Like, what if we could reuse this furniture? Right. And what if other people could reuse this furniture? Because I was sending it out to my agents and my clients, and I'm like, I have this dining room table. I spent $1,000 on it. It's going to go get thrown out. Give me $500. And so that actually spurred the idea for Restaged, which is essentially like the Airbnb for couches. Right. So if you have furniture that you have, and I'm sure we all have this, right?
Yes, we do.
2 bar stools from college that are just, you can't part with, and they're down in your basement, and your wife wants to kill you.
I love this couch. I love this couch. I love this couch. You're like, dude, this shit is done, man. Like, you can't use it no more. Like, the springs are on this side.
Yeah, just get rid of it.
You can't find a pillow.
You could actually have it make money for you. So it could actually be, item gets its own life cycle, gets its own calendar, and then you put it on the app, and essentially people can go and be like, let's say they have, not even with real estate, let's say you have family coming into town for a holiday, you need 6 more chairs, you go on Restaged, you rent the 6 chairs from whoever posted those 6 chairs, and then you return them back when they're done. What we found in the pre-launch is it's very clunky.
Right.
So we actually pulled it and we're trying to, I think you could still actually download it now, but we pulled it and we're working on the company that we use for the money behind of it and making it just a little bit more smoother, because that was the main feedback, was this is just too clunky. So
well, I got an app developer. I just launched
Really?
my app. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about an app. So I'm going to introduce you to him.
Please.
And he's geeked out. Like, so he
Okay.
could probably, where there's missing things, he could
Yeah.
probably give you a little bit of.
that's what we need.
how
I
he would
love
go
our
about it.
developer, but
Right.
we need to find kind of how to make it smoother.
It's okay to have a second voice.
Yeah.
I mean, right? We're in
Yeah.
real estate, right?
Let's go.
Why not? But I love the name though. Restage, recycle, hold on. Restage is rescue, recycle, restage.
It's reuse, recycle,
Reuse, okay, reuse.
restage.
And I wrote it
Yeah.
right here. Look, it's right
all-
here.
Any of it
look.
works. As long as you're just saying the restage to the end of it, I don't care.
All good, all good. So, I mean, and that, you took off with that, when was it? What year
God.
was that?
I think we officially launched it to public last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I
Okay.
think that was the final version we launched, yeah.
Wow.
So it went good, but again, we need more people to use it.
Right.
So we might take the money component out of it entirely, which is something we're open to.
Okay.
And we have a friend actually out in LA
Right.
who's talking about maybe using it to help people with the fires if the money aspect is out of it. So it's interesting. We're in like a very cool spot with it.
Right.
We just want to make it work.
Yeah.
And make sure that everyone likes it.
Why not?
Yeah.
But is it true that you use, when it's during a snowstorm, you use your signs to scrape off the snow of your car?
Yes. Yes. Wow, you really. This is the most well-researched podcast I've ever been on. Yeah,
You're
I
welcome.
Do. I do. I also ski in my jeans. That's how Jersey I am.
Oh, well.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow. So you don't know The Sopranos, huh?
Personally, no, not personally, but
Okay.
I love that show.
Okay. I mean, look, that's what makes it fun, right? Because every time we're doing, I think, I'm being biased. I think in our profession, it's the only place where every day is interesting.
Yeah, so true.
Every day is interesting.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
All right, so look, we're going to tap into this, Lisa. We're going to get a little personal because it's only the right thing to do, right? Like, you're here and you were talking about it. Recently, you had your daughter.
Yeah.
You went through some challenges.
Yeah.
And a blessing happened.
Correct.
And you're happier now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was that like to start and to be where you're at today during the time of your pregnancy?
Yeah. I mean, wow.
As a man, I'm talking about
Deep.
this.
No, you did a great.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fantastic. Yeah, we had a tough delivery. Yeah,
Right.
I had a tough pregnancy. So we actually, my husband and I actually weren't planning on having children.
You had
The best
time.
thing that ever happened to us.
Right.
Now that that's recorded and she'll see this in like 10 years, she's literally the best thing that ever happened to us. But my body, I don't think was physically ready to have a kid.
Right.
And then turned out I ended up having a bleeding disorder that no one catches. It's not one of the tests you get tested for when you're pregnant, even if you're scheduled for a C-section like I was. So if I ever have free time in my life going forward, I'm going to advocate on Capitol Hill for this. But it's simple blood tests that will tell you whether or not you have a bleeding disorder or not, and they
Right.
don't do it, which is mind-boggling to me. So I ended up having an emergency C-section. Vary the details, certainly if it's triggering for anybody else on here, but I almost passed away and she almost passed away. And we made it through, thank God. And we just had she was great. So she had 2 weeks in the hospital and she
Right.
was like ready to go.
Right.
My kid is bilingual right now. She's incredible. So she's all good, but my recovery was rough. Yeah. So, and I kept it very much to myself. I think,
Right.
as you said, I like to do things on my own. We hired some wonderful professionals. Anybody out there pregnant that has the means to do so, a postpartum doula is the most incredible thing I've ever heard of. We had to hire one because I physically couldn't help. And so she was great. And we just hunkered down. We had a lot of people that were trying to help us, and we kind of took it on ourselves. We're like, we're a family and we want to heal together.
Right.
And we did. And it's been 3 years, and I can confidently say like 2 or 3 months ago, I started feeling like myself again. It's a long road, man.
I'm sure. And
Yeah.
when, I don't want to say I didn't know, but I'm going to say I didn't know. My wife probably told me, and she's probably going to be like, she's from Chicago. She's going to be like, you dumbass, I told you this. The U.S. has the highest mortality rate.
Highest female mortality
rate.
rate for mothers.
Right.
Highest maternal female mortality rate. Yeah.
She probably told me this, but I didn't know until I started doing research on you. I'm like,
No,
yo.
Crazy. So I
Yeah.
remember like 3 days out when they knew, then at that point they knew I was going to be okay. It was just a long road.
Right.
I remember sitting there in the hospital, and I was like, how could this happen? And, you know, type A psychopath, I would start researching everything, and that kept coming up. And I was like, we are the US of A. Like, how is this?
How is this even possible?
How is this possible? But it is. We're one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the world. I know. It's crazy. And in my case, if they just did the test, I would have been fine. They would have given me the drug, and I wouldn't have had the bleeding episode. So it's wild to me. But
you know,
it is what it is.
The insurance, the cost, and it's just, I'm not going to touch that subject.
Yeah,
but
that's a whole other podcast.
So Lisa, what's your favorite restaurant in Jersey City / Hoboken? If not restaurant, what cuisine, right? We'll go there because, you know.
Yeah, I don't want to make it.
You don't want to make, because they're going to start coming after you.
Can I give you like a bunch of restaurants?
Absolutely. Okay. Shout them out.
Shout out to Dino and Harry's in Hoboken.
Okay.
That's my go-to. Best martini. Best place to get a steak.
That's on you next. Okay.
Yep. Augustino's. If you can get in. My husband and I have a standing reservation there.
Standing reservation.
I will flex right now and say that.
Okay.
It took me like 3 years to get it. Shout out to Christine and the crew. They're great for like your big, heavy pastas, like wear some stretchy pants and take off the next morning.
Did she just say the stretchy?
That's Augustino's. Cellar 335 in Jersey City.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
Is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Love that place. I mean, there's so many good places in Jersey City. Oh, in the Heights, Lo-Fi.
I've never been there.
So it's low
fidelity.
What kind of food is this? It's Detroit-style pizza, which I didn't even know that was a thing.
Detroit-style pizza?
Yes. Do you remember, did you have book club, Scholastic Book Club when you were a kid?
Yeah.
You would get the personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut?
Yeah.
It's that, but like gourmet.
Huh.
It is to die for. It's so good. And that's in the Heights.
That's in the Heights. Okay, I gotta try it. Okay.
And then I'm probably pissing off like 9 friends with restaurants right now, but I can't think of anybody else.
They're not gonna call you. You're done. They're not gonna call you. They're gonna be like, "Yo, Lisa, how you like? We had this opportunity, so you had one shot. You had to talk about how your experience was with you and hubby, and you just didn't do it. Okay, it's all right.
Yeah,
perhaps edit it one day." So outside of doing what you do best and making the world go round, where do you like to vacation?
Oh God, Italy.
Italy?
Yeah, hard stop.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I've been all over the world, but I think Italy is, I think I will live there at some point, or at least that's the goal. It's just, it's my happy place. It's my peace. I think the second most popular place I've ever vacationed to is Colombia. Cartagena, Colombia is an amazing place. And sadly now, not sadly for them, it's great for Colombia, but the travel and leisure is just all over it. So I'm sure it'll get way more commercialized. But when we started going there, it was just a great spot. So those two.
When you get to Italy, will you have that Lamborghini Ferrari waiting for you?
I think you have to, right? When you move there, they just hand you Ferrari.
Here it is. Okay, here. You know, that's one. That's one company I don't think will ever go out of business.
Ferrari.
Yeah.
So there's a Ferrari. One of the only 2 Ferrari design studios is right near our Engel Völkers shop on Park Avenue in the city.
Okay.
And I brought my top, I think it was like 6 or 7 agents there for a night of like education.
Yeah, I saw that.
With them.
I saw that on
It
social.
was mind blowing. And but Ferrari's been in my family for a long time, which now makes me sound horrible. So. When we had Ferraris, it was way cheaper than it is now. Now it's insane.
Right.
But they gave us a whole education on the brand and the quality and, you know, Enzo Ferrari and all this. And if you ever have like a free minute, dive in, because it's such a lesson and masterclass in like not compromising, sticking to what you believe in, and just a level of service and quality that you cannot get on anything else. And so that, I think, is my fascination with it.
Pretty much when people hire you, that's what you give them, right?
Sure.
It just mirrors, right?
Thanks for bridging that.
There you go. So, Lisa, if someone's looking for you and your peers and everything you got going on, where can they find you on your social platforms?
Yeah, so I did a website that kind of encapsulates everything. So it's ltaendeavors.com.
Okay.
And on there you can reach the brokerage, Engel Völkers, Hoboken, and Jersey City. You can get the Restage stuff, restage.com. You can kind of get everything there, or you can follow me on social media, which is at myhomehoboken or at evhobokenjc are my brokerages. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa, thank you so much for coming on. Let's talk about it. Others, look, let's talk about it. Jimmy Mortgage. I'm on Spotify. I'm on wherever your streaming platform is, Apple, Spotify. Did I say it a couple times already? I don't know.
I think you're on Spotify.
Spotify. Yeah, Spotify. Yeah. I'm on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. I'm everywhere, anywhere. just type in on that Google search, Jimmy Mortgage, let's talk about it, and I'll come up. And I can't wait for this episode to come out.
Oh, thank you. This was wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you.
All right, let's talk about it. Have a good one.
Bye.
Hey, listeners, are you looking to improve your home comfort and save on your energy bills? Let's talk about Seal Power. They've been awarded Energy Star Sustained Excellence Award, seen on Good Morning America, the New York Times, and World News. Seal Power is dedicated to keeping your home cozy while saving money. Check out their website for tips and incentives and more at CIELPOWER.com. Stay comfortable and save with Seal Power, where comfort meets efficiency. Follow them on Instagram for updates and more, and let's talk about it as well. Thank you.